What it do, what it do, what it do, and welcome back to another episode of the Weekly Wind Down, your favorite chat show hosted by yours truly, Jerver, aka Jeremiah Neal, aka the Pop Culture Maven, aka call me a snow goddess, y'all. Call me Elsa, because I am just frolicking through all this snow. Y'all should be so proud of me. A Florida girly just embracing the snow, no slips over this last week, which is a blessing, y'all, because I remember one time I went on this late night run to Taco Bell, doing things that the boys don't do. DK. And y'all, I made it all the way home. Mind you, it was like a half a mile away. I made it all the way home, about a block away. Plot! Just felt right on that booty. It felt like a movie girl. But y'all, my hand held my drink. That Baja Blast did not spill over, and that's all that matters. Anyway, if y'all been feeling a nice little shift in the air, that's because we have just entered the season of Aquarius. Where are my Aquarius at? We already know that Aquarius run this. They're the most fun sign, I would say, that you could ever encounter or be a friend of or just know. So if you know anybody that's in your family that's an Aquarius, you should definitely give them a shout out and show them some love, because this is going to be a great season. I can already call it. I'm definitely excited too for my birthday. But moreover, I'm just excited for like the positive energy and the feeling that just comes over in the atmosphere during an Aquarius season, because there's a lot of awakening. I feel like a lot of people awaken and broaden their communication styles. They start brewing like creative energy. The juices just start flowing. And I love that. That's when I feel like I can connect with most people, when they're in their creative bag. So if you want to do a brainstorm, a power hour on Zoom, let your girl know. First of all, anybody listening, is anybody into astrology? I wanted to do a celebrity episode, a celebrity astrology episode, where I went through everybody's rising signs, or a couple of people based off of their rising signs, and then see like what similar traits they have, whether it be like musical style or like songwriting wise. I think that would be fun. So if y'all are interested, let your girl know. But I also don't want y'all thinking I'm psycho. I ain't trying to like run y'all away. So if that's something you also would not like, also let them be known. Actually, I actually don't care if y'all think I'm psycho or crazy, because who cares? Just like Seal said, y'all, we're never going to survive unless we get a little crazy. And he was damn right about that. Black excellence right there. Speaking of black excellence, did anybody watch Sinners? I know I'm very, very late to the game, but they finally put that bitch on streaming platforms. I feel like they always do this. We just talked about this. Wicked was only in the theaters for 5 weeks, and then they put her on the platforms to purchase. It's like, can't y'all just let her stay in the theaters a little bit? But anywho, I feel like this is kind of the same with Sinners, because Sinners came back out in March, so I am very late to the game. Well, first of all, I want to discuss why we kind of put it off. Number one, your girl does not do any type of like gory stuff. That's why I kind of had to stop watching The Boys, for instance, on Amazon Prime, y'all, because they just be blowing everybody's brains out in like the first 2 seconds of the show, girl. And usually when I'm watching a show like that, that's when I'm eating dinner. So I ain't trying to have my appetite all ruined just because these the boys that create these shows literally want to be like little kids and have everybody guts flying everywhere. And I'm also not really into vampires. Like, I remember Vampire Diaries used to be like a huge thing. And I could really never really get into the show. I wanted to, but I just could not. Probably reason being why I don't know how y'all be watching that stuff, because I'll be feeling like you finna have nightmares. Like, I was getting nightmares from watching Charmed back in the 90s. So how y'all watching all this gory stuff and just going to sleep? It baffles me. Nevertheless, we finally caught up, and wow. After watching this film, y'all, after seeing how Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan and the rest of the cast have been getting snubbed during this current award season, I was like, I can't be, going to justice. Well, I guess I could. But when you're going to be a social justice warrior in the comments and stuff like that, you should definitely have your evidence. You need to understand what you are backing up. And although I always support everybody black, let's not get that twisted. I just wanted to know what the movie was all about. So I finally watched it. Baby, girl, they did not disappoint. That was a movie, y'all, through and through. A little long, but when the action got in there, the action got. And I was surprised at the amount of music that was put into the movie, which I loved. Like, I wasn't expecting that. It didn't give musical, because if y'all saw the Joker 2, girl, oh, no, man. Y'all know I love me some Gaga, but they should have put musical and big old bright lights on that, because I was just not feeling, that's not what I signed up for, I feel, especially off the first one. But with this one, the music just added like an extra layer of depth and great nuance that I loved. And it carried throughout the whole storyline until the very, very end, which I love. So y'all need to definitely go check out that movie. Some of the highlights, some of the things I really loved. I love the storyline. I think it was so cool for them having the whole bad boys leave home, they go to Chicago, and they come back to Mississippi. I thought that was a really cool storyline. Very parallel with a lot of black folks that do the southern migration up north or out to the west. So that's super, super relatable. But I just also love like the crazy symbolism. And what is even crazier is like the boldness in some of the writing, some of the lines that they say. Even Haley Steinfeld, some of the stuff she was saying, I was like, girl, I didn't even know. You even knew these words existed. But it made me realize why most white folks are mad about this movie. And honestly, I don't understand why we often go to like white award shows expecting them to give us some type of like accolade or acceptance, because 9 times out of 10, they're not even going to do that anyway. I guarantee you, though, if it was like a Charlie Kirk documentary, she would have been nominated and she would have swept all the awards this whole season. That would have been a thing. So just knowing how the game is played, y'all, don't take it too hard. But I'm pretty sure if you watch this movie, you will be understanding as to why it grows so much. I definitely saw Ryan's vision. I hope there's like more. It doesn't necessarily, I don't think it fits for like a sequel per se, but I definitely want to see more movies in this realm for sure. Y'all definitely got to check it out. I don't care if you're a green alien from Neptune, girl. Go and stream that up. That's after you finish streaming all the episodes of the Weekly Rundown. All right. To the main event. So I'm pretty sure y'all saw the title of this and y'all said, oh, here we go, another lecture. But listen, these are lectures for a reason. It's so funny. I never imagined myself being in some type of like motivational speaker / preacher role. Like that never crossed my mind of what I would be doing as an adult. But I have to be a leader of empowerment because people have to hear this. I don't care if they hear it 20 years from now. I'm going to know that I stood on business and I spoke my mind and I spoke the truth in the years of 2025 and 2026. So I'm never going to look back on this and be like, I shouldn't have called out those people. I shouldn't have talked about this topic, because we got to speak up on stuff. And it's just been too much devastation to the nations, too much crazy stuff happening to my Black folks. So I'm still going to pop my shit, but it's definitely going to be in a more like, empowering tone. It's not going to be a draggy vibe. Anywho, we as a society, as fellow consumers, as folks that work in the entertainment industry, have to do a better job at acknowledging the true value that Black entertainers, Black creatives bring, and making sure that the motion still flows with everything in this entertainment industry. The ideation and the conceptualization of supporting Black art, I don't feel like it's as far removed as we think. I think Black people have been controlling, well, they haven't been controlling. It's been white people that have been controlling, but Black folks have been pushed in the entertainment industry since, what was that movie? It came out, I remember it being a multiple choice question on my history exam for some reason. A Birth of a Nation. See? Your girl still remember 20 years later. Since that movie, they had a Black person in there and they didn't even have no lines. It was a silent film. So Black people always been in movies in the entertainment industry. And even since then, I feel like there have been several Black performers that have been crushing it in this genre. Like if we look at Zoe Saldana, even though I don't know if she classifies herself Black per se, but she's definitely, Afro-Caribbean. She just beat out Samuel L. Jackson for the highest grossing actor ever, meaning all of her movies that she's ever come out with grossed the most out of any actor in the whole world. Like, y'all already know that Black folks be on the grind. We've had amazing singers like Nina Simone, Dionne Warwick, Little Richard, Willie Dixon, Muddy Waters. All of these people have led successful careers, but nobody sits here and talks about how they've had to probably put in 10, 20 times more work than their fellow counterparts just to get the accolades and the glory that they have achieved. And with that, many of the musicians that I just mentioned had their likeness copied and stolen from so many white musicians. And I think this is something interesting because now we live in a world of Gen Z and baby alphas kind of controlling the narrative on social media. And to them, everything is just like plain as day. Oh, all is well. Everyone can use AAVE and Ebonics because that's just like social culture. That's just how we talk online. That's just our slang. Nobody is like paying attention to how they are adopting pretty much every single nuance of culture that they're claiming off of Black people. Like y'all are mimicking Black women. Y'all are mimicking Black queer folks from the ballroom scene. If I see one more comment about somebody talking about down boots in the comments, I'm like, y'all don't even know what y'all are talking about, but yet it's on the tip of everyone's tongue. And it's just something so baffling to me because it's a part of like your DNA, your coding of how you live your life every single day, but you can't allocate source. You don't know where this is stemming from, or you can't acknowledge it, or maybe you do know where it's coming from. You just don't want to acknowledge it because that's one thing pride will always get in the way of. It's for someone, wanting to admit when someone is right or when they are wrong. That'll probably never happen. But nevertheless, I would love to like open up that conversation and get people talking about as to why we're always like the topic of conversation when it's something negative. But when it comes to Black folks running pretty much every single aspect of every single entertainment industry, this even goes into sports and athletics. You look at every single team except for like maybe baseball. But even they got some Black folks on there. But if you look at the NBA, if you look at the NFL, majority of the players are Black. So when you try and deny the source of material being Black or being Black origin, and when number two, you chastise Black creators for just being themselves, for dancing, etc., and then you go and uplift similar creators like the Lopez brothers or the Addison Rays or the Charlie D'Amelios, y'all give them TV shows and production deals and all of these rewards. It just kind of like taints your mind into wondering, well, what are we doing this for? You know what I mean? Are Black folks supposed to be doing art? Like, or is it supposed to be a business for them? Because on one side of the token, I want to see my people win. I feel like they deserve that. They deserve to have millions and the millions of dollars. I love seeing Black excellence. I love seeing people spend their money. I love seeing that. And so if that is based off of you getting on a stage and belting your lungs out or doing the chicken hit, then get your money. Like, I don't think you need to go work a 9 to 5 for years and years and years to get that when you could just do it based off of your talent. However, what I'm seeing is a tale as old as time where one person will get onto this platform, then 10 people will go and copy that. Then those 10 people will make the billions and billions and billions. This person left with like 100,000. And then they're told they're just supposed to be grateful because they got that one opportunity. This is what we mean by equity, not equality. Equality is the giving everybody that same opportunity to get on the stage. But equity is being fair in the output of what you are giving to everyone. And everybody should have been getting millions and millions of dollars, not one person getting $100,000 and the other folks getting 10 million. That's not fair. We see this a lot with, especially in the music industry, with, for instance, an artist like Victoria Monet. I feel like she got a lot of flack, especially recently when she released Jaguar 2 and she has the song All Right. And she's saying, you know, some of her lyrics are a little, not necessarily raunchy, but they're adult, you know, they're a little mature. And people were like, oh no, we'll never play something like this on a radio. This isn't meant for kids. They were doing this whole thing. How can you make a song like this and you have a daughter, Hazel? Yada, 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 yada. Mind you, every single salacious song that you've heard from Ariana Grande or Fifth Harmony, Victoria Monet penned that. Okay? Y'all don't have no problem with those people were singing it. Y'all don't have no problem with y'all hear Sabrina Carpenter saying all the craziest stuff on her most recent records. That's one little horny girl. I'm gonna just call that out. And I'll be seeing all these little 8-year-olds at her concerts. And y'all don't be saying nothing. So I just don't like the picking and choosing on when to be outraged. And it seems again that when you are Black, your Black art has to live in a box. You can't be too sexy. You gotta be sexy. You know, we want to see you shake that ass and we want to see the oily skin and all those things. But like the tip drill videos back in the mid 2000s, but you can't do too much. You got to make it like commodified and easy to copy and paste, i.e. K-pop. They are the perfect example, y'all, because look at the elements that we want: rhythm in our music. We want those 808s to hit. We want to have the cool streetwear when it comes to the image. We want to have the cool cadence when it comes to like the songwriting. Okay. But then at the very end of the assembly line of you building your musical sim, we going to swap out that Black person for an Asian person. And we going to have them say gang, gang. Even though they ain't never in touch with a real gang in their whole life. No, seriously though, y'all see what I'm getting at? Like, it's just very strange. And then the fact that the world just eats this up, or they think that this is just like a normal thing, I will never stand by or get it. Another thing, Bruno Mars releasing the song Fat, Juicy, and Wet, y'all. Like, it's not my favorite song. I'd love to see Sexy Red again get a bag for just being herself. But I just feel like it would be a very different situation if Usher came out. I remember when he came out, Make Love in This Club, but that was such an outrage. You know what I mean? Nobody said nothing about Bruno Mars. Or what if Trevor Jackson came out with a song like that? They would have been making fun of like how he sings instead of just letting the song ride off the same way that Bruno did. So in order to change stuff like this, honestly, we need, number one, Black artists to stop giving a anymore. We should not care. You know who does this real well? Duckworth. He opened up for Billie Eilish, and I loved it because a lot of the people in those big old arenas did not know his music, but he treated that moment on stage as if that was his show. And he has the music to do so, but that's how y'all gotta be. Y'all don't care if the people in the audience don't know your music. You just gotta pretend they do and rock the out. You gotta get back in like the Rick James or like the James Brown bags. Like, I'm not saying you gotta go rolling around in coat, but there was just a mood of just, I don't give up. And that has to be like our mental in order to be set free when it comes to creating Black art and or receiving support for the art. Secondly, I also feel that it requires the same way when it comes to like fighting racism and all these other things. It requires non-Blacks to have the ability to be able to uplift Black artists and see their actual value, like the shining value, their Midas heart glowing within, not just a potential, not just seeing them as like a money sign and a potential cash cow. And then when things fail, you want to bail out, not just an aesthetic that draws eyes, but true value. You have to be able to look within and see what these people can bring to the table, because that's what makes you a devoted supporter longer than the fad that you're going to see on a social media platform like TikTok or Instagram. You know who came to mind that I think is a perfect example of this? Fantasia. I feel like Fantasia is perfect. Like, her voice, when that lady opens her mouth, her voice just captivates you. And it's crazy because I feel like there's probably like hundreds of girls in the South that can sing just as good as her. And if they were given the opportunity, their lives would change. But they just need, you know, proper resources, training, development, a chance to go to the recording studio, a chance to go to the dance studio once in their life. Again, this is equity. But you see how hard when we were watching her on American Idol, how hard it was for her to get through. She was a teenage mom. mom who just got dumped. Like all of these things, all the whole world was going against her, and all she had was her voice. That's pure art, and that's what needs to be uplifted. Now, I'm not saying a world can't exist where Sexy Red and Fantasia can't dominate the charts at the same time. I think that is perfect because I feel Blackness is not a monolith, and there are all different types of folks within the diaspora that also consume and or evoke different vibes. Like I was talking about that before. That's why I love Black music, especially when it comes to hip hop, because you can have like a J. Cole and a Common, and then you have Juvenile and Mystical, all different intentions of what they're outputting out there, but at the same time, that's still us, you know, at the end of the day. So I think that's super important for us to like live out loud and boldly when it comes to our art and not try to change things up for the white man or whoever is in power just because you feel like that's the best way to assimilate into a business, because at the end of the day, they still don't care about you. I know firsthand, y'all, my whole journey in Los Angeles was me, again, fighting 10 times, 20 times harder than the counterparts that I'm looking to my right and to my left when I'm going to all these different events and I'm seeing these people climbing up the social ladder, but just based off their Instagram followers, they were being let into all these events and being paid $50,000 to post this on their stories or whatever. So number one, I'll always be proud of everything that my groups put out there, my interviewing skills put out there in Los Angeles, but specifically with Phase 5, I can remember when I even first pitched that idea to Joe Simpson, he had reservations on forming the group or even activating the auditions because he pretty much told me that investors, people at labels, etc., were not going to be interested in my group because there were no white members in the group. And I remember going home that night and feeling like so freaked out because I'm just like, what are we supposed to do? This is my goal. This is my dream and my baby. And this man just shut down the idea. Well, he didn't shut it down. He just kept it real about how the business works. And it's like, I kind of went with my heart, but I kind of did it because if you look at Phase 5, we had like 1.5 folks that were Black. But I kind of wish, you know, because growing up, I watched the B2Ks. Next, there were so many groups and acts that I wanted to emulate at Jackson 5. Like I wanted to be like them people. And I don't understand why that couldn't be a format in the 2010s if we already just watched it happen in the 60s, in the 70s, in the 80s, and heavily in the 90s. To hear those words from someone that I actually respected, it blew my mind. Y'all already know it. I still persevered. I still played the game, but it makes me wonder what my journey would have been like had I stuck to the route of having members in the group that were all people of color. It would have been so dope to have like a B2K, a guy, a Black Street take over pop and rhythmic pop during an era where we had Nick Jonas and Tinashe and JoJo and Maroon 5. And it was just a really fun time. It would have been really cool to have a Black band be in the mix of all of that. Okay, so that's creating the group. Fast forward, when I'm actually in the group and we're active, nobody wants to listen to any of my opinions. Imagine someone that's avid and wanting to see growth and success and you're sharing vibes or whatever, and nobody's listening to you. You feel like you're just like beating your head against the wall. When it came to styling, sometimes when it came to choreography, I always had to get some type of cosign from others in order to get the needle moving, and I just did not feel like that was fair. Pitching songs, when it came to like songwriting, when I first was in Facebook, I wrote a lot of material. Yeah, maybe some of the songs weren't the best, but that's where you got to start. I'm sure y'all favorites, Ariana Grande, all these people didn't have always the best songs, but that's how you become the best that you can be, is doing it. You know what I mean? But hearing all the time, oh, it's just not that good. And then you turn on the radio a year or two from that point and you hear your same melodies that you were writing on those songs on the radio. Again, it makes you go psychotic. It makes you be like, oh, these people are really out to get me. Like they do not believe in me. It makes you, it's a form of gaslighting, I feel, or manipulation for sure. Because again, they're missing your literal value. That's another point. Value, payments. I can remember the guys, we were owed like hundreds of dollars from merch sales from this event similar to VidCon called Playlist Live. And it was like pulling teeth to get our money from these people, even though they would like email us like projected invoices and stuff like that. We would never get the money. And we shouldn't have to fight so hard to get something that I know, again, a couple of those other influencers at the event didn't have to do that. You know what I mean? Even with management, even with representation, we just always had a hard time. And then even when it came to that, having production camps running off with our song masters, like this game, the music game, the entertainment business is no joke. And unless you have like the most impeccable team that's willing to fight tooth and nail for everything that you have going on, they have to be in your corner literally 25/8, not 24/7. They have to be with you all the time. And also you have great industry timing, like you've caught onto a wave of what is in demand, then your journey is going to be different from what I've witnessed and seen from everybody else. But from everybody else, y'all, it's going to be super, super hard. You got to have your team there and you got to have that perseverance in order to crack the surface. And so for my newer artists, if y'all are listening, please, please, please just focus on that art and let that always be the leading focal point. You always want to be creating and you always want to just be evolving your sound. You never know what's going to pick off, but I would rather y'all figure it out for yourselves instead of listening to these people at these labels that do not know and they're gambling the same way that these people are gambling when they're playing sports. The sad part is that they're gambling with your art. And that's like really shitty. Like, make them go in the booth and go record some shitty, crappy song. That is a hot mess. Even beyond like my personal testimony, we're still seeing like so many current artists go through the same plight, even if they have big pushes. The first person that comes to my mind is Lucky Day. Lucky Day auditioned for American Idol, I want to say in like 2004 and 2005. And it took him maybe 12, 13 years finally to start getting songs on the radio. Same thing with Willie Jones, if I want to say his name is, who was just featured on Cowboy Carter, Just for Fun with Beyonce. But he was on X Factor in the year 2012, the first X Factor season in the United States. The career really never took off, even though he's just as good as Shabuzi and definitely way better than Nelly old coon self. Male R&B, it has to come back, but it seems like people don't want that. They want people to sit there and mumble rap like the Migos and Future and Drake girl. But I want to hear my man sing, okay? I don't want to hear no damn auto-tune. Who else? Obviously, Doechii. Doechii is receiving like the most unnecessary hate that I have witnessed in a very long time, and it's definitely obvious. It was just crazy though, because she's backed by Top Dog Entertainment, y'all. TDE, Kendrick, Schoolboy Q, like they got everybody. SZA. Like they have some of the most popular artists. If she's signed to that, of course they're going to use their resources to ensure that she's going to prosper. Like that's what you're supposed to do when you're signed. You're not supposed to get shamed and bamboozled when you're signed to an entertainment company or label. Hello. So why wouldn't they give her the world? But I'm so tired of the whole industry plant narrative. And then also I don't understand why we are taking advice from non-Black people about Black art. So anyone that's up in array about anything that Aiden Ross has to say, y'all are being silly in the first place. Because why would we even listen to what he has to say? Like he's he's not even a musician. I could see if like the Twitch streamers and stuff like that like did music reviews and stuff like that, then it would make sense. But he don't even, that's not even his focal point, or that's not even what his audience is into. So for him to just be coming for Doechii, that he just wants clicks. And so there he goes. He got it. We bring race into it. Well, Kai Cenat is not necessarily Black American, but he tried it. He talking about Black Americans have no culture, even though he sits there and wears streetwear every single day. And then he's trying to do this whole like high-end fashion line for himself. And over there asking La Roach for advice. How are you going to be homophobic and say Black Americans have no culture, and then you go to a gay fashion stylist from Chicago for advice? This is what I'm talking about. Behind the scenes, they always want to use the visions from these people to like set everything in place. But then when it comes to showcasing what everything is then stolen and given to somebody else. And I hate that. But anyway, Doechii, do your thing, girl. So many Black folks, so many multi-hyphenates. Because even with Doechii, that's why I love her. Most people don't even know that she was singing What It Is, Oh, What's Up? Because that song is like mostly vocals, and she's pushing herself more as like a rapper. That people, that I thought that was SZA or somebody else. I saw in the comments the other day. I'm like, y'all don't even be knowing who y'all listening to on the radio. It's just so crazy. But that just goes to show you that you can make pop, rock, R&B, you can do it all. And again, you'll still have to do 10 times more just to prove your existence. Just your existence is worth it. Shout out to Josh Levi. This about been the fourth time I brought him up on the Weekly Rundown. But again, another person that was on X Factor season 3. Took him 12 years to finally, he just released his debut album, y'all, in 2025. I was literally on tour with him in Phase 5 in 2014, 2015. You know what I mean? And he's been grinding. He was signed to Issa Rae. I don't even know if that deal worked out, but it's just like, imagine getting told, you're the one on next. You're going to sign this deal. We're going to do this for you. Just for like Tommy Richmond to come out and launch $1 Million Baby and take over the radio with like a 10th or a 20th of the talent. You know what I mean? That's why Black people are the best, because of resilience and the endurance that you have to have in order to even maintain what you want to do in an industry like the entertainment industry. You got to be the strongest of the strongest to even like breathe, to even wake up the next day and be like, I'm still going to do this. That takes so much guts. Speaking of guts, shout out to my girl, Leanne from Little Mix. When did they break up? I feel like Little Mix broke up maybe 2 years ago, and all of them have been releasing solo material. But Leanne was signed to a label, and then she's now independent, and she's been doing an American press run, going into the details of how her label didn't believe in any of her projects. That is the thing. Like, a label always wants you on their roster for their sake, so they can flaunt around to like other potential clients and being like, yeah, well, we got this person on our squad and da 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 da. But they never in those meetings are ever showing the efforts that they're doing for those artists, and that's because there is no effort. They're not doing anything for these artists, and most of them are getting shelved. And that's exactly what was happening with Leanne. They didn't want to release her project, so she decided to exit out, and now she's going to be coming out with her album next month by herself independently. I think that's so smart. She took up all her money, so I'm gonna do my own PR. I'm gonna go and tell my own story. What's the name of her album? Something about her, My Ego is Finally Back, or something like that. Or My Ego Said When. Something about her ego is taking over it, but in a good way. And I kind of like that, because I feel sometimes like when you're in the industry, they'll pick and pick and pick at you until you probably have nothing left. Imagine you're a flower and they picking all your petals until you got one. Kind of like Beauty and the Beast. Well, that light still got to come on. The rose can't die black. So I love that she took charge and she's bringing her own light. Another person that I would love to flag is Lil Nas X. sucks. I feel like his last couple of years have been so volatile to the point where it ended up breaking his psyche. And I will never laugh at anyone in any type of distress. Anytime I saw those videos of him like kind of losing it in public and stuff like that, I never entertained in any of that because I know exactly what he was going through. And to be honest, y'all, if I would have stayed in LA, that definitely could have been me. No lie. Like going back to labels, think about it. All is great when you are recording hits and your records are going diamond and you have the most listened to song in the whole history of the world and you're making the label millions of dollars. Oh, they love you, girl. But when you can't strike gold again, when you can't make that happen again, all of a sudden everything fades away so quickly. Them same people that was gassing you up in the offices and going to all them parties, they will ignore your messages. They will ignore your text messages, your DMs. Everything just flips and it happens so fast. It's like a pot of boiling water. That's how fast this shit go bad. And then you're supposed to sit there and just process it and just be a normal human being. Imagine again being at the top of everything, the charts, collaborating with Billy Ray Cyrus, doing all of this, and then everybody just shamming you and forgetting about you. Of course, a person's gonna break. Again, that's why I'll never laugh or mock someone trying to just process the inconsistency of the world that they're in. You know what I mean? And then also trying to find some type of joy, hope, peace. No wonder why people be turning to drugs. Hello, y'all. This world is full of despair. But you know what's not of despair? Your art. So overall, again, Black art runs this, and y'all know it. Listen to even your favorite song always pretty much got a Black artist featuring. And they love that. Dua Lipa love getting Da Baby on, well, until she kicked his behind off. What was that song? You Can Fly Away With Me Tonight. Levitating. But that was just like the form, you remember, Camila Cabello, Havana, Una Na, had Young Thug on there. So it's very clear that the art is needed in order to help the wagon run. The machine, the train, it still has to continue. I just hope that because we know our value now in 2026, we're going to hold the reins a little tighter, y'all. We're going to go into these meetings and we're going to negotiate our value. We're going to release projects that we've been sitting on for months and months and months because we can and we will, and we are creative beings and we deserve to have output into the universe. We don't deserve to hide just because folks tell us to, or the world is so, crazy and volatile now too. Sometimes it feels crazy to want to be expressive with your art when people are dying literally every single day in the streets and stuff like that. But at the same time, art is protesting. Art and your self-expression of your art is a form of protest. Not everybody, wants to go picketing, but you writing your poem and you go performing that, you never know who's going to hear that. You never know what words could help change the perspective of your neighbor, a politician, whatever. So I'd rather people go to the ends of the earth proclaiming and speaking from the heart than to be silent like all these buffoons that we see to our right and to our left, which is why we're in like the craziness of this country that we're in right now. So, and then another thing, I know this is super random, but even in the K-pop industry, I'm gonna need to start seeing some Blasian folks. Y'all trying to tell me ain't not one Blasian J-pop artist or K-pop artist that can't debut in any of these groups? I feel like that would be like the bare minimum of the K-pop reparations movement. Like I know that y'all are paying the Black songwriters, the Black producers. I just watched this whole Cortez documentary. They was in the studio with Juicy J and a couple of other people. So they got the budget to be paying those folks, which is great. But I want to see the stars. I want to see more Manoes up in these groups. But that's probably what they don't want because they know they're going to take the spotlight. Oh, it's just so hard being just a special light into this world. You always gonna have some haters, y'all, but you just gotta continue doing what you do. And that's everybody, regardless of race, class, or whatever. I hope the message is transcending that no matter how much someone can try to take away who you are or what you want to put out into the world, only you can be the ultimate deciding factor or if you're gonna want to put it out there or not. No one can block you. You got too many avenues now, y'all. YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. Shoot, I'm even back on Facebook posting stuff on there because people gonna hear me, you know what I mean? So I hope y'all have like that same heart and y'all have that same tenacity on getting whatever you want out there. I have so many talented friends who people have been tagging me in like their sketches because y'all been seeing me do my Spice Girl sketches at work. And I've been getting so many people like, oh my God, I have sketchbooks too. And I love to sketch too. And I'm like, yes, but I would have never known that had I not posted on my close friends. And so I hope again, like I find out more secret hidden talents from people just because they're feeling expressive, just because this age of Aquarius is awakening y'all up to just be your very best. So yes, I hope y'all enjoyed this episode. If you did, make sure to please subscribe, share it with a friend that you know that loves everything pop culture, music. Bravo. Oh my gosh, y'all showed me so much love on the Bravo episode that I have to do part 2. Like I know it's going back and forth, but it is certain. So that is coming. Also, I know I've been saying it every week, but special guests coming next week. Stay tuned for that. This has been such a fun journey and I love connecting with y'all. Yes, we already talked about this, but Spotify finally upgraded that bitch. You can now leave comments on Spotify. So please, please, please flood the comments on Spotify. Again, share with a friend. I appreciate all y'all. And until next week, we will get it poppin' forever and always on the weekly one now. This has been your girl, Jeremiah Neal, and we are signing out. Holla!